This video is going to be sponsored by War Thunder. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex update, and today we have brand new spoilers for the manga chapter that we're about to go over. My patrons know that I've seen the entire chapter. I shared some of the raw scans early this morning, but as a reminder, due to copyright, I will not be showing too many panels in this spoiler video. What I can say is that if you did expect an action-heavy chapter this month, you definitely are getting what you're looking for, and we got some shocking revelations about Code's Ten-Tails Claw Grimes having a set of hidden powers that on top of a knee-jerk reaction should shock you, but when you sit down and you think about it, it makes total sense why they have the power-ups that they have. Finally, I'll probably have the review up on the 18th or the 19th, depending on when OP Scans actually publishes the review on their website, and with how long it takes the editor, I'm giving time to actually edit it because I want the chapter reviews to be of the highest quality, which you guys can thank the Patreon squad for paying for the chapter reviews. Expect a much higher quality edit on the 18th and 19th. So what we'll do now is we'll go over some of the key points from the chapter itself, and as always, take these spoilers with a grain of salt until you can get more context by reading the chapter itself. The biggest thing that comes out of this chapter, in my opinion, is that Boruto is now in possession of a brand new rinnegan, and this one stands out because of the name behind it. The translation, it can break down into the word spirit or universe depending on which lettering system you use in Japanese, but just in the way the chakra is shown swirling around Boruto's body instead of around his palm like a normal rinnegan, we're in for a really big treat here. And there's actually some of that good old Masashi Kishimoto folklore and Japanese history is tied into that name, but I think it's safe to say that Boruto is about to show us more of the fruits of his training under Sasuke, because Boruto has a very quiet confidence about him right now, and he's gone so far as to tell Code before gathering the chakra in his new rinnegan that Code is someone who would be easy enough for Boruto to kill on his own without backup, which that in itself is a major testament to how much powerful Boruto's gotten, because we know that Code is stronger than Jigen but weaker than Ishiki, but for him to be talking on this level saying it won't take much effort to actually kill Code might mean we need to start having a true conversation about whether or not Boruto is beyond Baryon mode Naruto right now. This next chapter is going to tell us a lot depending on how easy Boruto takes down Code. If he has an easier time than Damon did, then we need to have that conversation, but if he's on the offensive and has moments where he's on the defensive like Damon was, then we know exactly where we can place Boruto, which is still below that Ishiki tier power but way above Jigen. Next, we got a little bit of clickbait at the end of the last chapter and in the actual promotional blurb where we saw Boruto and Kawaki and Code all in the same panel. The promotion for the next chapter said that the three of them would do battle, and they technically did battle, but not the battle we were thinking, and that's because they aren't all in the same location, which makes sense given that we saw Kawaki turn his head showing that he's aware where Boruto is, but they were on opposite ends of the village. Kawaki's closer to the training grounds than Boruto is, which I think is a smart decision here, because a three-way battle between Boruto versus Code versus Kawaki, for as cool as it would have been, it might be a bit too chaotic, especially since we know there are still innocent people in the area. In the chapter spoilers that we have Kawaki flying towards Boruto's location, but before he's able to get to Boruto, he has to step in to assist Team 10 and Himawari, and we get for the second chapter in a row a sign that Kawaki might have bitten off more than he can chew with the Shinjutsu, and that switching lives with Boruto isn't necessarily everything that he wanted, because Kawaki, after saving Himawari's life, gets super annoyed with her and he tells her, "Stop calling me big brother. I've told you to stop calling me big brother," and he's showing a cold lack of affection towards her, and Kawaki has what appears to be a look of disgust towards her when she begins to act affectionate towards Kawaki. In the last chapter, we saw how Kawaki was pushing off Mitsuki, and now we see Kawaki pushing off Himawari. Those are two characters who know the true nature of Naruto's son better than anyone else in the village, and we know that Mitsuki was beginning to raise doubt, and Himawari looks like she's having her doubts about Kawaki now as well. If it weren't for the Shinjutsu messing up their memories, they probably would have figured it out by now. But what's interesting about this is that Ada did tell us in the last chapter while memories can't be overridden, the experiences that someone actually has could put them in a different direction, and we continue to see Kawaki push away those who he cares about, which that looks like it's going to have seeds planted for the downfall of Kawaki in the distant future. The other thing from this chapter that stands out is that if you were someone who said that the claw grinds would be used as a benchmark to show how much stronger the new generation got during the time skip, you're absolutely correct. There are levels of the power for the claw grinds. For instance, we see Shikadai and Team 10 state that the claw grinds that they're fighting, they aren't anything they can't handle, which is a testament to how much more powerful they've grown in the 3 years of training. They're fighting off 10-tailed soldiers. That's impressive. But as we see in the chapter, there are claw grinds who have a power amp that is the direct beneficiary of the rinnegan. So on top of having the 10-tails chakra placed inside a humanoid body, which by default makes them stronger, it's the same concept of a bee juice chakra getting stronger in the body of a Jinchuriki, but now we know that they have Code's chakra in their bodies, and some of them have the Rinnegan Eye. However, they don't have the Rinnegan Eye with the Sharingan Tomo like we saw with the 10-tails and with Sasuke's old Rinnegan, but they have the basic Rinnegan. It'll be interesting to see if in the physical first volume of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, which comes out later this year, if there's a correction made by Ikimoto's assistants and they draw the Sharingan Tomo on them. What's interesting here is that we see the 10-tailed soldier that has the Rinnegan is significantly stronger than the others, which makes sense because we were told in Naruto's manga that the Rinnegan comes with an enormous boost in chakra. So to see this claw grind with the Rinnegan is a really big deal. It means that there are likely others, and there are other claw grinds that have varying degrees of power. But if they have the Rinnegan, that means that they should be able to use the Rinnegan's basic 6-pass abilities, which every Rinnegan user has. For someone like Kawaki, that's not really a problem. He's literally the only person in the village who is a walking hard counter to the Rinnegan. Now, this is where the spoilers get a bit controversial. It's probably what some of you guys are waiting for me to talk about, which at this point, I'm not really surprised because of the selective outrage that tends to happen every time these two characters do something in a chapter. Essentially, the fandom is at war like they're playing War Thunder. This video is going to be brought to you by War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. Listen up, fellas, because you got the chance to play with over 2,000 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships in a dynamic combined arms PvP battle setting. Every vehicle is incredibly detailed and modeled down to their individual components, offering highly immersive combat experience. You can play for free now on PC, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, or the previous generation console. The collection of vehicles in War Thunder spans over 100 years, dating back to the 1920s to present day. The in-depth customization system for all vehicles allows you to apply hundreds of camouflage and place historical markers anywhere in your machines, as well as 3D decorators. Here's the thing, even though War Thunder strives for historically authentic battlefield experiences, you have a ton of different ways to personalize your vehicles, including thousands of user-made skins modeled after anime that are only available on the War Thunder community site. Download as many of them as you want, with almost every vehicle having anime-themed skins, and if you find one that doesn't have one, feel free to make your own. The anime love doesn't stop there either. You can also download anime voice pack mods for your crew, and you can also purchase the Kizaru suit, which features an anime design that is actually used by the JSDF, and by using my link, you'll get the 3D Dakimakuras that can be placed on your tanks. War Thunder has incredible graphics and detail in 4K resolution, authentic sound effects, and beautiful music, creating an atmosphere to fully immerse yourself while playing. The detailed level of customization is a huge selling point for me personally. Best of all, there's no extra pilot hardware necessary. Fly any aircraft using nothing more than a mouse and a keyboard thanks to the game's intuitive mouse aim mode. For me personally, I love playing with tanks because you're in charge of controlling a super immovable, powerful object that can run roughshod over everything and destroy everything in its path faster than Boruto was able to step on Code's face in this chapter. Between that and the extensive selection of vehicles that you can get, as well as the way that you see the damage acquired on the vehicles and the way that the smoke and the backgrounds and everything looks so realistic, I am very strongly encouraging you guys to play War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox using my link. On top of that, my link also gives new players a boost by getting 7 days of a premium account, 100k silver lions, and a booster to speed up the progress even further. So what are you waiting for? Don't waste any time. Download War Thunder. Use my link today. So in the spoilers, we see that Kawaki's caught off guard by one of the claw grinds, in particular the one with the rinnegan, and he pounds Kawaki's face into the ground in the most disrespectful manga panel we've seen since Ishiki turned Sasuke into a surfboard and was saying cowabunga dude while drinking a bottle of wine and wearing a Make Konoha Great Again t-shirt, which that merchandise is coming back for a limited time on the Naruto Explained Teespring very soon with your favorite Hokages on shirts and hoodies. Kawaki had his guard lowered and he got tagged. However, he's not the only one, and this is where a lot of the controversy comes into play. Like we normally do when spoilers come out, we have a section of the fandom on any Twitter that overreacts to spoilers because they see something, they take it out of context and proceed to be selectively outraged to a point you can't convince them that they're blowing something out of proportion because they've already jumped the gun, therefore they have to double down on it. In the chapter, we see Sarada fighting the claw grind, bullying the claw grind, taking out a group of them with just a fireball jutsu, and then taking out another group of claw grinds when she cuts on a Mangekyo Sharingan and uses her Chidori, making light work out of the ones in her area and using such high level power that the Chunin watching all go, "Are you sure you're only a Ganin?" And Sarada basically takes the stance she did in the last chapter, which is Chunin, Jonin, Ganin, it doesn't matter. She's here to destroy all the claw grinds, threatening the village because she's going to be Hokage one day. Sarada then cuts off her Mangekyo thinking that all the claw grinds have been taken out, but she makes a very fatal mistake. The claw grinds were not all defeated, and she gets saved by the Chunin in the area who pushes her out the way of an incoming attack that she can't see because it's in her blind side. Imagine that. She's off guard. Doesn't have her Mangekyo Sharingan cut on to use that advanced eyesight that the Sharingan gives that's even more amped up because of the Mangekyo, but most importantly, even if it was cut on, the Sharingan does not have near 360-degree field of vision like the Byakugan. Now, this would not be a problem, but we have in the exact same chapter people being very selectively quiet about the exact same scenario happening to Kawaki in this chapter. He comes in to assist in the fight. He doesn't have his dojutsu cut on, and even if he did, it wouldn't matter because he doesn't have a 360-degree field of vision unless he secretly has a Byakugan we have nothing about, and so he ends up getting tagged and slammed into the ground by a claw grind. Yes, this one had a rinnegan, but that's irrelevant. He was off guard and he needed to be saved by Shikadai in the process. Both characters had their guards lowered and both characters did not have their dojutsus activated in the process, but as is typically the case with any Twitter, only Sarada's the one dragged. This notion that it's wrong for characters to have their guard lowered and is only something that started in Boruto is reason number 100. I'll forever say, if you only played the Storm video games or you binge watched the 2 Naruto anime to jump into Boruto, or if you're solely operating off of your nostalgia memory of the Naruto series, go back and reread the Naruto manga or read the manga for the first time if you fall into that first category. Your favorite characters, including members of the main cast, they got their asses saved more than once in the manga for having their guard lowered, including the almighty Naruto Uzumaki, who has the ramen flavored ramen noodle doodle that everyone loves to suck off to the point that Hinata's getting jealous of the fandom. Sarada getting protected from being off guard doesn't take away from the damage she's shown doing in the last chapter or this chapter, the same way that it does not take away from Kawaki being saved, and it doesn't erase any of the damage we saw him doing the last chapter or this chapter. This selective outrage is not helping with the accusations that our community faces in the anime community where people say that Boruto fans can't read, and I'm just gonna leave it there. Now, the last thing about these spoilers that stands out is that Boruto is flat out warning Code to destroy the claw grinds while he still has a chance, and Boruto is strongly implying there's something else about these claw grinds that Code does not understand, that he's underestimating, going so far as to directly imply the claw grinds feel fear and that they aren't brainless monsters like a normal Ten Tails like Code is saying, because Code has shared his chakra with them. He has changed them, which, considering what chakra is, a combination of physical and spiritual energy, is not the craziest thing to think that the spiritual side of Code's chakra inside of his claw marks might have done something to the claw grinds. When we first saw him break up the Ten Tails using his karma seal and claw marks, I immediately compared it to Hagoromo using the creation of all things jutsu when he made the 9 Biju by splitting up the Ten Tails chakra. We saw with the Biju, they started as mini chakra masses, but over time they grew to form their own consciousness, have their own wants and desires, and Code might have bitten off more than he can actually chew, which is definitely going to be something that we have to keep our eyes on moving forward when it comes to these claw grinds, because we might be seeing Code make the mistake we've seen others make in the past, like say Madara, who did not recognize the signs that Zetsu had a will and had thoughts of his own. It's cliche and it's a shonen trope. It's one that's existed for decades now, and it's existed for a reason, because it's a trope that's tried, true, tested, and it works. The only question is going to be how much further Kishimoto takes this subplot and lets it cook before paying it off, because Boruto clearly knows something about these claw grinds, and given that he's traveled with Sasuke, someone who has read through Otsutsuki scrolls looking for info on Kaguya, been to Otsutsuki dimensions, there's a chance that Boruto knows something that we as the audience don't know. In regards to the leaks, that's all I'm going to cover. Again, I'll have the full chapter review up around the 18th or 19th, so my editor can bring you guys a highly edited quality review. I'll be using the OP Scans translation. They should have the chapter up today or tomorrow. However, the official chapter drops on the 20th on Viz Media's Shonen Jump app and Shueisha's Manga Plus app. Don't be lazy, guys. Read both of them, because we got a chance to get Boruto 2 Blue Vortex over 1 million views off of 2 chapters, which would be huge. That would beat out One Piece for reference. However, there aren't any problems with you using my link in the pinned comment and the description box to download War Thunder onto your PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. You've really got no excuse not to download it, because it's so easy to follow these instructions that even Naruto figured out how to do it. So download War Thunder now.